Amazing. So, everybody, welcome. It's number one.
And the members.
Yes, I mean, so I'm going to start off by just saying you kind of caught me out a little bit, really, because I thought, okay, we'll try and run an Atlassian event, and I flicked around the website and thought, well, look, you can sign up to be a community champion, I think. I should say, I showed everyone my socks, didn't I, at the other Agile Yorkshire, and I forgot to wear them tonight. I forgot my Atlassian socks that they sent me. But yeah, I thought, well, let's give it a go. And we don't have a list to send out or anything. I thought, I don't know how this is going to go. It could easily be we get 5 people show up or something. But it's great that we haven't. We've got a whole ton of people. So it kind of bodes well. So thank you very much for everybody coming. Hopefully we can have a little bit of a conversation tonight, a little bit about what the next, what we can do from here forward, because there is a ton of people out there that could speak at these events, and I'm sure there are people amongst you now that have burning things on your chest that you would like to share with the group. So anyway, yes. So first of all, I'll just introduce myself a little bit. So my name is Roy Brachet. How many people here have not been to Agile Yorkshire before? So there's a handful of you. Okay. So the rest of you know me from Agile Yorkshire. So I run a business, this business NewRedo. We're an IT software consultancy based here. This is a picture. This is me back in the day with my IBM 3090 tape under my arm. I'm essentially an engineer by trade. That's what I've done for years and years, run lots of software teams. I was an architect at Sage for many years, but I suppose more importantly for the kind of this audience and Agile Yorkshire audiences, back in 2002, 3, 4, I suppose, I read the Kent Beck's XP Explained book, and was working in a team that built an energy trading product at the time. And we started to do, using Atlassian tools, using Jira at the time, but we started to do things very pragmatically and follow some of that guidance. And to cut a long story short, 18 months later, when the National Grid ran trials for this piece of software, and it was the only thing in the country that actually passed the trial, the only thing that finished, and it was all down to following an agile path. So that was my kind of conversion, and I'm a kind of agile bigot now, as you might know. That's not completely true, but anyway. So yes, so that's me. So yes, and this is just for those of you that don't know. There's a companion event to this, let's say, Agile Yorkshire. So at Agile Yorkshire, it's not really a complete rule, but we try not to talk too much about tools, really. We have lots of people with all, it's a broad church, the Agile space, isn't it? So people come along and talk about all sorts of things, but we do get tool vendors that say, can we come along and kind of do a sales pitch? And we normally say no. Well, we always say no, really. But hey, Atlassian ecosystem is a bit different. They've been in the game for a long time. I think that the Atlassian tools do things that some of the other tools don't do. So there's definitely things to learn there. And obviously it's so popular. So it all ends up being in our lives anyway, doesn't it? So what is the Atlassian community? So it's huge. So over 100 countries, 3,000 plus meetups, all sorts of people involved, tool vendors and people writing all sorts of plugins, all sorts of consultancies, all sorts of companies doing training, and just obviously thousands and thousands of practitioners and people that are involved. And we are the Leeds chapter. So there isn't many chapters in the UK. I think there's one in London, I think maybe Reading. Bristol. And where's the other last one? Manchester, okay, yeah. So not many around. I think even the ones that are around wax and wane in how active they are. Is that right? I think the London one at the moment is pretty active, isn't it? I've seen, yeah. So hopefully we can, Leeds and London, we can kind of compete. So I suppose it brings us on to really what this is all about really, and what hopefully we can get out of it. Obviously, we all know from a community point of view how, for those of you that come along to Agile Yorkshire, I've certainly got tons and tons of value out of running Agile Yorkshire over the years. I've met all sorts of fantastic people and learned a ton of stuff over the years, and I'm absolutely certain this group can do the same. Who's ever had a problem with Jira? Who's annoyingly got a node in a workflow that they can't bloody get rid of? And there's a ton of things, isn't there? And it's a huge, super powerful tool. I kind of think I call it one of those tools which, there's kind of visual programming going on, isn't there? If you write code, you can debug it with all the tools that we know about, and you can trace the code through and you can work out what's going on. But when you're kind of looking at visual dialog boxes and you're not quite sure which thing relates to which other thing, it can, definitely, especially if you've got a bit of OCD and you realise, well, that bloody workflow isn't what I want it to be, and why is that still poking through? So we've all have these kind of problems. Hopefully this is a group where either you can get some insight into trying to fix those, or perhaps bump into or talk to people or meet people that might be able to help you with some of those problems. Hey, we'll have to see how it unfolds, I think. From a point of view of the community experience, as I say, absolutely loads and loads of, my network has grown, I think, from other events that we've run around the Agile space, and particularly Agile Yorkshire. But there's lots and lots of informal chats that lead on to all sorts of bigger discussions. There's definitely people in the audience today now that we've done great bits of work with over even recent times and over the years, and hopefully it's a great environment for kind of all that networking things. Who's come along to Agile Yorkshire and kind of met some new people? Bina. Everybody, fantastic, yeah, good. So, what can the Leeds chapter become? And I think this is where, it's a little bit over to you guys, really, as to what it can become. I specifically didn't get a speaker for tonight because I thought I don't quite know how this is going to unfold, and I also thought I don't quite know who's going to show up and the kinds of things that might be useful to the group. So in a minute, hopefully we'll do a little bit of an exercise where we can try and surface some of that stuff. But obviously, this is a space for learning. There's obviously all sorts of potential working together that can go on. Definitely, it should be a safe space, an open space for people that have never used Jira I'm using Jira Atlassian tools, as well as people that have got years of experience. I always refer nowadays to Agile Yorkshire as a community of practice, just because I think it's an important part of any business ecosystem to be able to kind of support some kind of peer learning. And lots of larger businesses nowadays who has a peer, any kind of like community practice in their workplace at the moment? Yeah, so it's definitely a hugely valuable thing. And I think of groups like this, Agile Yorkshire, and groups like this as kind of cross-company communities of practice. So definitely understanding how other people, I would even say more than anything really, understanding how other people in other businesses are using some of the Atlassian tools, especially as at the moment, it's quite a sort of changing ecosystem, I think. So I'm going to ask you in a minute, really, what's next, how often we should run these events. I've got the next date pegged in with the staff here. This room's booked for the 20th of August, I think it is, which is quite a way away, but if there's more demand, we'll bring it forward, definitely. Because I kind of, didn't know what what the uptake was going to be really. But also things like what time. We've got it in the evening, just like we normally do, but there's other options. It could be during the day, it could be over lunchtime, it could be all sorts of things. From a format point of view, so many of you will know the format for Agile Yorkshire is pretty fixed. And we do the same. We always have like 2 speakers and a bit of networking. And one of the reasons we do that is because we discovered over the years that people like to know what they're going to get, and they, because they might want to bring their peers, their colleagues from work, and not everybody is super comfortable with, some kind of open space event or kind of discussion, those kind of things. But everybody's different really, and all groups should be different. And I'm definitely keen to vary the format and make the format whatever it needs to be. And I imagine this group will actually turn into something which my feeling would be is probably more collaborative than perhaps the Agile Yorkshire Space is at the moment. Speakers, so what do you want to hear about? What kind of things? There's lots and lots of Atlassian has a speaker database. How many people on the speaker database? There's thousands and thousands. Obviously, lots of them aren't super local to Leeds because Atlassian is a global business and people are spread out all over the place. I think some groups pipe people in over, on video conference, and that's definitely a possibility. So we did think about running this event tonight downstairs in the kitchen, where there's a kitchen but it's still got seats, but it has a bigger screen. The screen's bigger, and we could do that and pipe speakers in. I mean, there's experts from, there'll be experts from every possible Jira annoyance. I'm sure we'll be able to, get all kinds of people really, talking about the traditional tools as well as lots of the new stuff really. But it will be really good to try and understand a little bit from you guys, who you'd like to hear from, whether it's some of the plugin vendors, whether it's some of the consultant people, whether it's, as I say, there's lots of Atlassian people on that speaker database as well. So all ideas are welcome. We run lightning talks at Agile Yorkshire in the run up to Christmas. Usually our December event is a lightning talk competition. Quite a few people in the room actually that have partaken in that. For those of you, if you're not familiar with that, 10-minute kind of talks. Plug-in demos, all sorts of things are possible. Or even just getting together for a social. Sometimes these groups, that's one of the great things about them. Building social capital is one of the great things. Tonight was the very first Atlassian community event for Leeds. It's an event that NewRedo has sponsored. We didn't know the kind of crowd that we would get along, but it's been actually amazing. We've had 40 people sign up, and really interesting people have come out of the woodwork to come along. We're really, really looking forward to planning the rest of the year, the events that we're going to run. Some great suggestions from the crowd.